Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, in this episode we're going to shoot a very nice photo, hopefully, of downtown LA. Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, my name is Serge Ramelli. I'm a French photographer living in Los Angeles and Paris, and I make one tutorial per week. Click here if you want to get the raw files of what we're going to be doing today, and click here if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, the idea of this episode is a bit different than usual. I'm in downtown Los Angeles and I want to take a nice photo of downtown Los Angeles. There is buildings, there is cars, I want to play with long exposures, and I want to find the right composition. So the idea is to invite you along with me on this shoot together until we find the right composition, try different things, and hopefully come out with a decent photo. So follow me in downtown Los Angeles. Okay, behind me is a bridge that goes over some highways. That was a bit of like my idea. You know, one of the hardest things you do when you make a urban landscape is to find a foreground element that's interesting. It's very easy to have a nice sunset. It's very easy to have a nice building or monuments. That's easy. But to have an interesting leading lines or foreground elements, that's not always easy. So we're gonna check what it's gonna look like over there. Could be cool, couldn't be not cool. Let's check it out. So now we are above the highway and the sun is coming down over there, which is interesting. The problem is that this angle is not very nice, but I really want to get the gradient of the sky here because there is no clouds tonight, so the only nice light we'll have is the gradient by the sun. So maybe, however, the problem is that the buildings here on my left, where there is no sun going down, is nicer. Ideally, I would love this sun to be over there, so I cannot. So I'm gonna take a photo so you see what I mean. I'm maybe gonna try like this angle. Right now it's a bit too early. I'm gonna wait a little bit because I want to get that it comes by night, but I don't want to go too late either. It's like right when the sun is coming down and it's getting a bit darker. It's in about 10 minutes it should be good, in about 10 minutes. And then we have the buildings over there. So we'll see, either I'm gonna go frame it this way or this way or this way. I'm going to see what works the best. Let's move a bit forward and see how it is. So after walking around for a couple of hours in downtown, I really decided that I wanted to make a shoot again because I've done it before of the highways and with the buildings. Now, it was a day where there was absolutely no clouds, which unfortunately happens a lot these days in Los Angeles. And the sky was pretty boring, as you can see. So, when it's like that, I really want to go for getting the drama from the night photo. So I waited for sunset to come down completely, and then I started looking around for something that I wanted to, like, for a composition that would work, okay? And this is my first try. So this is the classic highway shot where the highway is right in front of you. You got the buildings on the left and on the right. It's a pretty straightforward classic. That's the first photo that I shot. It was at f10 ISO 50, so I was on a tripod. Of course, the lowest ISO possible, so 50 and 5 seconds. But 5 seconds this is the raw file on retouch, was way too underexposed. So then I boosted it up to 15 seconds, and I thought this was interesting. F10, 50 seconds. Now I have the nice highways. This is a classic shot. So the technique that I have to review the photos is I usually retouch the classic shot. So on this type of night photos, I would just open up the shadows so we can see a bit more what's going on. But I don't necessarily bring down the highlights on this one. However, I do my blacks by holding on the Alt key and going to the left, and I can see that some decent amount of the photo is pure black like this. And then on the whites, when you do night shots with buildings and you're going for this type of effects, I usually go a lot more, like this is like a lot of burn light, but I don't really care that here it's completely burned. because I think it just makes a better contrast. Now the white balance on night photo is very tricky, and if you go to daylight, which is what it is. It's kind of cool, but it's too green and it's too warm. Of course, not talking if you go to cloudy or shade, it's going to be way too warm. Tungsten is way too blue, and fluorescent is not bad. Fluorescent is not bad. What I usually like to do is I like to take daylight, and then I just add a bit of blue and add a bit of magenta, just a little bit. I think I'm going to add even more blue. Yeah, I don't want the whole thing, because the problem is there's a lot of light of pollution coming from the city light, so it becomes a bit of greenish, greenish blue. Yeah, something like this. Okay, and then maybe add a bit of clarity. Yeah, maybe a little bit of clarity and a little bit of vibrance. Okay, so that's something that I like. Sometime I'm gonna go jump over into the camera calibration, see what camera landscape is gonna give me. Not bad. Camera landscape is giving me a lot more vivid look, which is the camera calibration is just a different way to interpret the files, which I kind of like. And sometimes you can even play around with these settings here. Shadows, tint on the left. This is going to add a bit of magenta in the shadows. This is going to add a bit of green. I don't want to add green, but maybe a little bit of magenta. Red primary. Okay. On the left, it's going to make everything red, and on the right, everything yellow. You have to be very gentle with this ones. Maybe a little -4 on the reds. Saturation, I'm not going to touch it. Green primary on the left. I like what it does more on the right. Yeah, just playing around with it. And blue primary, let's see, on the left and on the right. Maybe a little bit on the left. This one you have to be very gentle. I usually hardly go, even +12 is a lot. I go like usually, yeah, a little bit. So now I got a sort of, a white balance that I like. Let me show you the before and after. That's the before on the left, and that's the after on the right. So what I do is I'm going to select all of this, and I'm going to click on sync, check all. Oh, sorry, before I do that, let's deal with the noise. Now on this one, I use the noise reduction in camera, and so it's got hardly no noise, which is really cool. So I'm going to put my sharpening like at 90 or maybe 80 on this one. Yeah, and then I'm going to do my masking. You see, because I'm starting to sharpen the sky and I don't want that, so I'm going to hold on the Alt key and move this around until what is black is not going to get sharpened. So the sky is completely black. Okay, good. Now I got a good sharpening. I think that's good. Maybe just a little, 10 noise reduction, but not more. And the noise reduction in camera did a really good job. So now I kind of like what I have here. I'm going to do the unavailable profiles correction, remove chromatic aberration, yes, but I'm not going to do the auto, because sometimes when I sync the auto, I get weird things. So what I'm going to do now is I have this photo selected and all the other ones, and I'm going to click on sync and synchronize. This way, all the things that I've tried are kind of already retouched. It's not a final retouching, but now I can go through them and see what it's going to give. Like on this one now, I'm going to press auto, and I kind of like this one. So this one I've already given it a 1 star. Okay, this is one like that I kind of like. Let's see if I can find a better composition, because doing this composition is really hard sometimes. So this is another one that I tried to do. This one is way too dark. I was trying to see if I could make a composition, because I love that building, how it was led. I think it was very interesting. This one is way too dark. So let's boost a little bit the exposure. It's not bad, but it's not bad. This one, I'm going to give it like a 1, for example. Okay, so I'm going to press Command D to unselect everything. Just select this one and press 2. Oh, sorry, 1. This one I'm giving you 1. This one is interesting. It's very similar, but I got more of the highway on the right, but now I'm cutting this building, which is a bit the star of the photo, so I don't like that. Okay, this one's not bad, but I'm cutting this building. I'm cutting this building. I've got a bit of highway. Interesting, but let's see if I can do better. This one's not bad. I actually like this one. Well, I sort of gave up on that building, Now I'm more into the highway, But it's like, yeah, it's a bit of a mixed message. This one, I'm more just into the highway, but I don't like the on the right. It's very dark. The leaf here is a very high frequency texture. I don't think it's very pleasing for the eye. I like that. Okay, then I tried to move into a different place, completely different place, where I had highways below me, highways on my right. I mean, cars coming on my right, on my left, and this nice building. Now this one I really like. I think I'm just gonna do a little auto on it, and I'm gonna give it also a 1 star. Oh, you see, auto did not do a good job. So that happens when you press auto and you try to get, you know, the building straight and you get a weird result. That happens. So the best is to go to manual and then just play around with vertical until you got something that you like. Something like this. That's too much. And yeah, vertical. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, constraints drop. So yeah, that's kind of cool. This one I like. I also gave it a 1 star. So now I got 3 photos 1 star. And this one and this one is similar. It's just I did it so that I could have more of this building to make a panel. But I'm actually happy with this one. So I'm going to jump there. And now here is another idea. I really wanted to get this feeling of this road here and this highway and the building, like trying to get more of the scene. And so at the end I did this photo and this photo. And the thing is, I wish I could get everything into one photo, and if I would have wide angled it, this buildings here on the background would be very small, and here it would be very big. I don't want that. And also I think this photo is too bright. I want to try to see if I can make a little pano out of this. So I'm gonna basically lower the shadows on this one. Maybe just lower the exposure overall. I don't want it, I think it's too bright. I'm gonna make my blacks maybe a little darker. Yeah, my blacks is not dark enough. Okay, well maybe not that dark, but yeah, something like that's kind of nicer. This is a chopper. There's a lot of choppers in Los Angeles. Okay, I like that. Now I'm gonna remember that I always shoot manual. So this one is at 15-second f8, and I believe that this one's also at 15-second f8. So they have the same exposure, so I can just take the retouch from this one, synchronize on the other one. Now both of them's got the same retouch. Okay, and then I'm just gonna right click, edit, merge to panorama in Photoshop. Now on this one, I would not necessarily use Photoshop to make the panorama. I think I would use Auto Pano, but I didn't want to, you know, make this that you had to buy another software to be able to follow along. So I'm just going to use Photo Merge in Photoshop and see what it can do at best. All right, so here we are in Photoshop, and it merged both exposure. Now we still have a lot of work to do. So on this one, I'm going to press Command E to get the 2 layers merged into one. I'm going to duplicate the layer, because I always like to do my retouching. I'm gonna press Z for the zoom key, press the Alt key, and so I can zoom out. And I'm gonna go to Filter, Adaptive Wide Angle, because I need to correct some of the things which is happening here with this photo. So, because it's, you know, the buildings are not straight. And when I go into the Adaptive Wide Angle, I always check for perspective, see what perspective is gonna give me, or panorama. Sometimes I check for full spherical, but it often doesn't work because of the aspect ratio. Okay, and fisheye. Let's see what fisheye is going to give me. Fisheye is not so bad. I think I'm going to go for fisheye. And on this one, then I'm going to hold. I have this tool by default, which is to make things straight. And if you press the Shift key and you click here on the middle of the building, and you just basically tell Photoshop that you want this building to be straight. Boom. Same thing here. I want this building to be straight. So Shift, and make sure you just hold on to the Shift key, and I just want to make the building straight. So I click before the buildings, you know, after the buildings, make sure they're really straight. Voila. Now I have a problem with that, is that I don't want, this is too curved. So you can do something like this. Just make a line, and that's gonna help make this a little less curved, but the buildings are pretty straight. And honestly, Photoshop does not do as a good of a job than Autopano, especially for this type of shots. So this is not what I would use, but as I said, I didn't want to, you know, introduce a new software. I think it's a bit too much for such a small tutorial. And okay, now this is not gonna go good. So you know what? I'm just gonna reset it. So I'm gonna press the Alt key and click on reset. I'm gonna start from start. So fisheye didn't go. I'm gonna go for perspective. I think perspective would do a better job. So perspective, still holding the same technique, holding down the shift key and boom, making this building straight. Okay, this one straight. Actually, the trick is to put as less as possible lines, because otherwise you make, I think this is going to be good enough. Okay, I'm going to press OK, and it's going to render this correction. So this is the before and the after. The bottom layer, I'm just going to turn it off. I'm going to take the crop tool, which is here, and I'm going to clear if there's anything in the crop tool. And I'm just going to crop here, go the whole way here. I think it's interesting. And I want to get that building in full. So that's good. Okay, I'm going to press enter. And I'm missing here some stuff here and there. And the way to that, make sure you're on the right layer. I'm just going to take the magic wand tool, press the shift key, select this, select that. Got this selected. I'm going to go to select, modify, expand. I'm going to expand that selection of roughly 10 pixels. Okay, and then I'm going to press shift delete. Shift delete. Shift delete is going to open the fill window. If you don't see it, you can just go to edit, fill, but you can see shift delete is a good thing. Is a good way to bring that window. Then content aware, I'm just going to click on OK, and content aware is going to fill that. Press Command D, which is very easy. And then I'm just going to press Command J to reduplicate the layer, and then I just have to do some cleanup. Oops, sorry. Command D to undo. I'm going to take the spot hitting brush tool, zoom in on the photo, and just take out the chopper stuff. So, let me see here. All right, sorry. Okay, I pressed the Alt key like you. So you see there's a lot of chopper things going on. I'm going to make this smaller. I'm holding the Alt and Control key to make my tools big or smaller in Photoshop. And the healing brush tool is going to make a great job to make all these little chopper dots go away. Here there's a lot. And yeah, but I'm not going to bother you. You get a bit the idea. I just took out the biggest one. I would spend more time if I needed to make a print. And basically that's it. So I'm going to, oh, here we have a little problem. That can have happened. So the best way is to take the stamp tool and just stamp here and fill in this. Something's wrong with my stamp tool. Okay, opacity and flow is not at 100%. You need to make sure that's the case, otherwise the stamp tool is not going to work properly. All right, I'm just going to fill in with this texture here. Voila. So we don't have this. And press and close, save, and it's going to re-import it into Lightroom, and this will be my 2-star photo. So at the end of the day, I had a few 1-star photo and 1 2-star photo, and voila. I hope you enjoy following me in this little photo shoot on a Sunday night. It's always nice to have fun on a Sunday night. You see, like, this is not completely straight. I think Autopano would have done a better job. It's kind of nice. I'm still going to give it 2. I think it's a nice photo. So now if I filter all my photos with 1 and plus, this is the result of my photo shoot. That's the first photo, pretty classic, but still nice. Let me show you in big. Okay, I press Shift Tab to get all the menus out, and L to make my screen darker. Okay, this one is kind of cool, but I don't like that it's crooked. This one is interesting. This one is the one I like the most. Yeah, because you can really see all of downtown. Maybe, you know, I think I would make this part, I would take him out and maybe this part a bit darker and make this building straight. I still have some work to do on it. But anyways, I wanted you to get the idea of this retouching. I'm going to give you the 2 raw file of this so you can play around with them and see for yourself. I hope this was inspiring. I hope you like this type of little photo shoot adventures. And I'm really happy to announce that I have my Paris in Spring workshop coming up in June. So if you want to come with me in Paris and do a 1 full week of photo shoot and have some amazing French food, well, here's a little trailer where I'm explaining all that.
Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. I'm very happy to be able to invite you again this year in my 2015 Paris in Spring workshop. This is something I did last year and it was a lot of fun. The idea is that you would spend a whole week with me in Paris, France, and I'm going to bring you to the best, epic, iconic locations in Paris where we're going to shoot the Eiffel Tower, we're going to shoot the Louvre, we're going to shoot the Seine River, we're going to go to the top of Notre Dame and shoot all the roofs of Paris. We're going to go to the top of the Tower of Tour Montparnasse and have an amazing view of Paris. I will bring you into some of the best spots. We are going to spend an entire day in Mont Saint-Michel. It's not Paris, but it's the second most amazing place to visit in France. It looks like a castle from the Middle Ages, Game of Thrones. Plus, you're going to spend all the lunches and dinner together in very nice selected French restaurants. So it's also a little foodie experience. And you will see, it's just a really fun experience. You will come out with great photos and we're gonna have a lot of excitement together. So join me in this Paris in Spring 2015. Here is what some of the people last year had to say about it.
The highlight of this trip was, I think, probably getting up early in the morning.
Just the whole package, the entire experience.
Just being around fellow photographers that have a love of photography.
Photography level has moved up.
My name is Michel Jourdouin. I'm coming from Montreal.
My name is Bert. I live in the Florida area, Gainesville, Florida.
My name is Rebecca Waters and I'm from Southern California, around the Los Angeles area.
My name's Mark Llewellyn and I'm from England.
In everything you do, the only thing important is passion. And I think this man's got first that passion, and he has also all the generosity to transfer it to every student.
This helped me as a photographer by making me concentrate more on the photographs, the post-processing side, as well as taking the time to take the photographs.
And as a photographer, these kind of things get you to another level.
I definitely would recommend this to a friend.
I would absolutely recommend this to anybody. This has been a fantastic experience that I would love to do again.
Absolutely. I would recommend this workshop to anyone who's interested in photography, anyone who wants to see Europe or Paris. It's a wonderful trip.
I would recommend this workshop to anyone I know interested in photography, a friend or no friend.
If you can afford it, go for it. And even if you can't, try to go for it.